Hello Libra, Libra Rising, and Libra Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting May 8th, 2017. And a quick reminder for you guys out there, remember that if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. There is a self-scheduling app on there where you can see my availability. It automatically adjusts to your time zone when you select your time zone properly. And if you can't do that, you can always just get a downloadable video file as well. So what is going on with your astrology for the week of May 8th? Well, we've got a great week in the astrology for everyone, and it all starts on Tuesday when the Sun in Taurus in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, self-employment income, and all of that good stuff forms a wonderful connection to Pluto, currently retrograde in your 4th house of home and family. And it looks like old money is coming back, or an old financial opportunity is coming back to you. You know, with Pluto retrograde in the 4th house, it kind of creates an era from now until September where, you know, we're reconnecting with people we used to live with, you know, with family members, people who used to be part of our close family. And with the Sun in the 8th, you know, it's also a good time to maybe even reconnect in opportunities towards self-employment. For those of you who maybe have had shared investment opportunities, shared home office opportunities, work projects, websites, and things like that that you've partnered up with people on, there's going to be some good news coming from somebody from your past. This can also be a great time for money to come back into the home front to you and your partner if you've been, you know, stretched a little thin since, you know, some of the ickies that have been going on since early April. Later on in the week, we've got Mars, planet of action and energy, in your 9th house of higher education, your higher spiritual education as well, long-distance travel opportunities, and broadcasting, forming a lovely connection to Jupiter, currently retrograde in your sign. And you may find that somebody has gone out of their way for you to actually succeed in nailing one of these good opportunities for yourself. If you've been trying to get an opportunity to maybe expand your work profile, get into the college or university of your choice, maybe you're working hard on trying to maybe even go international or go worldwide with a business opportunity, this is where somebody sticks up for you. You know, Mars always shows up as a champion, a guardian, somebody who may have stronger resources or more information, somebody who's kind of, you know, our ace in the hole, so to speak, comes back with something that really pays off in this area if you've been trying to push for that chance for yourself. So what is going on with your cards then this week? Well, for your spiritual advice, this deck, we've got the card of the Golden Unicorn. Not necessarily, I mean, I don't really go for cutesy poo, but with the Golden Unicorn, it is actually a really good message. You know, this week, you're going to be called upon to sort of defend or champion other people, and in return have them defend or champion you. Now, the thing about this is that you may find yourself, you know, with the Golden Unicorn, in a situation where you have to defend or protect people that you didn't necessarily think you would be protecting. It's about knowing the right people, the right situation, the right cause, and what's going on. You know, and it all depends, I guess, on what kind of ethicist you are. You know, and I'm actually going to be doing a video on my vlog channel, Scarlet Moon Magic, on different types of normative ethics that we have, you know, relationship ethics, all those kinds of things. And, you know, with the Golden Unicorn, it's kind of talking about where might we have to bypass that every once in a while. You know, where might we have to champion the cause of somebody that maybe we don't have a good opinion of them, but we know that, you know, they are in the right. Or maybe there's somebody that we do have a good opinion of, but we are protecting them, maybe even from themselves. You know, this is the kind of energy of the protector, and doing it the right way for the right reasons is going to be necessary. And sometimes that means making the hard choices, but also at the same time, you know, maybe that hard choice is a challenge of getting over some personal biases as well. So it's a very interesting card, but you will be well rewarded or well supported if you can step up to that plate. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Six of Wands upright. This is a card of victory, of popularity, and acclaim. And, you know, when we see the Six of Wands in the Earth sector, this is something that you're getting celebrated for. You know, or there may actually be something that is awarded to you in celebration for something that you've submitted, something that you've done. We may have passed an evaluation, a test, an interview with flying colors, and all of a sudden we've nailed the job we're looking for. And we may find ourselves in a situation where, you know, you are going to be a little bit more, you know, apt to be more social. You may be finding that your popularity at work is spreading out. People are kind of spreading your good name. You may be noticing that even, you know, word of mouth has gotten around, and all of a sudden we're making more money because, again, we are broadcasting ourselves in a much stronger, much more, I guess you could say, noticeable way, noticeable capacity. Usually with the Six of Wands, somebody is singing our praises, and it's because of that good publicity that there is going to be some good payoff sooner than later. Excuse me. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life, we've got the Five of Swords upright. Could be some fighting going on, could be some arguments, somebody actually getting hurt feelings. It's weird. I'm kind of feeling a different vibe from this than I normally do. And I kind of feel like something that you do that's perfectly innocuous, perfectly safe, perfectly good for you in promoting your efforts, may actually hurt the feelings or bruise the ego of somebody close to you. And we do have to handle that a little bit delicately. You know, what could be happening there? Sometimes, you know, people aren't really ready to see us move on or go into bigger and better things. Sometimes when we do well, somebody who, maybe they work in the same field, maybe, you know, it's our relationship's working and it's making that person more aware of how where their relationship's not working. You know, there's a lot of toxic comparison going on, I'm feeling this week from this card. And, you know, that doesn't mean you stop doing good for yourself, but, you know, if you find out that somebody's self-consciousness, maybe somebody's insecurities are starting to make them feel and act in a way that they're being persecuted when you're really not doing that, the considerate thing to do would be to correct that. For your challenge this week with fire, we've got the Ten of Cups upright. Not really a whole lot of challenges, you know, for the Libras out there. You know, the Ten of Cups can often be kind of a freebie card when you see that in a challenge area. You know, because it does indicate there really is no overarching day-to-day, continuous, you know, ongoing issue or struggle, you know, with this week. Sometimes with the Ten of Cups as a challenge, the only challenge we have is to make sure that things don't elongate. You know, if we have this conflict, for instance, with this person, you know, maybe there's a chance that, you know, we're taking too long to solve it, or it gets drawn out for no real good reason. You know, and sometimes people do draw those things out. People, you know, if we're dealing with a self-conscious, insecure person, they might not necessarily even feel like their feelings are effable, or that they are able to articulate. That doesn't mean draw it out. Okay? Other than that, we got no challenges going on this week for you, Libra. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we've got the Two of Wands upright. And the Two of Wands is kind of a nice card because it does indicate some kind of promise being fulfilled, some kind of deal, or maybe even a promise or a new rule or a new mainstay being made. You know, because the Two of Wands, I always look at this as sort of like the on your honor handshake deal. No one's going to break this. I hate the word commitment in a lot of ways because sometimes people say commitment because, again, they're not willing to go deeper and actually articulate what they mean when they say commitment. Because it's gotten to a point, you know, where it's like 5 people say commitment, they mean 5 different things. So don't say commitment. You know, it's, you know, say what you want to say. And the Two of Wands is saying that, you know, you and a partner, you and a crush are actually going to be able to cement what that will be and get to that point of understanding, being on the same page with this pact or this promise on our honor. You know, finally getting things in a way where there is something, again, that is made, you know, where this is going to be kept. This plan is kept in the sense of what commitment could be in that area. And this could also be a really good time for those of you who are single and looking to settle a date, to set a date, set an important date with somebody that you've been actually meaning to. And again, something that will actually have a big payoff in the near future. So that is your horoscope, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.